Okay, I'm going to do a video about Dave McKeegan's hit piece on another video I did debunking his simplest observation to prove we live on a globe, which is when we view airplanes early in the morning or early evening, just before or right after the sun breaks the horizon in the morning, or just before or after the sun passes the horizon in the evening. We tend to see light on the bottom of airplanes. At least that's his claim. And he claims because we see light on the bottom of planes, that due to the angle of incidence, that's proof we live on a globe. So we're going to get into this. I'm going to just straight destroy the whole thing in this video here. I'm going to let you hear some of his stuff, and then I will break it down and show you how this guy he's either deceiving people intentionally, or he's completely scientifically inept when it comes to understanding optics, perspective, photography, anything. What I do think is silly is that he will do hit pieces on flat earthers all the time, but he won't debate any of them. At least none of the ones that are decent at debate. As far as I know, he refuses to debate Austin Whitsitt. So Dave, if you're so confident, why are you unwilling to debate it? Why do you only do hit pieces where you don't have to answer to anybody or anything? If you're going to do hit pieces, you should be willing to debate the people that you're doing hit pieces on. If you're not doing hit pieces, then hey, no big deal. You don't really have to entertain debates. But if you're doing hit pieces, you should entertain debates and not run and hide behind your ball religion. So anyway, what I would say is, Dave McKeegan, this challenge is to you. After this video is done, if and when you see it, you need to issue another video admitting that you were wrong and that your simplest observation is incorrect and is not proof that we live on a globe. If you don't do that after this video, then you are an intentional liar, an intentional deceiver. So prove everybody wrong, admit you were wrong, and we'll see what happens after this video if you actually do that. So here we go. We're going to let everybody hear what you had to say, and then we're going to break it down.
We hope you're doing well, and thanks for joining us for what will be a relatively short video this week, because I'm also working on a much bigger video project at the moment as well. This particular video, though, is a response about what I feel is the strongest single observation I've ever put forward as proof that the Earth is a globe. And
the strongest single observation he's ever put forward as proof for a globe. Dave, those were words out of your mouth, and your strongest observation, or that is proof for the globe, is about to get destroyed. So you better admit it once you see this. And if you don't see it, hopefully somebody will lead you to it, and then you can see it, and then you can admit that you were wrong. But this is what's interesting about globe zealots like this guy. They always want to say, let's look up to things in the sky to prove the floor beneath our feet. They do this all the time, and then they say they don't. All we have to do is measure the floor beneath our feet. Things above us do not prove the shape of the floor under our feet. It's just odd. It's mind-blowing to me that they can't see this. I believe they can. I believe a lot of them can. I believe a lot of them are just deceivers. I believe a lot of people can't see it because that's how programming works. it causes cognitive dissonance in the brain, which makes things very difficult to reason and think through. Anyway, he said this is the strongest proof. It's about to get destroyed, and you're going to see why.
Is the fact that we can see sunlight reflecting off the undersides of aeroplanes at sunrise and sunset. And
key point, reflecting. Now, the way he is using that word and what he insinuates about what reflecting means, you'll see. But he uses the word reflecting, then he basically talks about how it's direct sunlight, and you'll see that in some of his diagrams. But reflected light is not direct sunlight. And if it's not direct sunlight, then the angle of incidence that he talks about doesn't really come into play. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself, so we'll just let him talk.
Recently, flat earther Joe Hanby tried to debunk this by perfectly proving my point. Now, I've made 2 videos about seeing these observations. The first one I did back in March, which laid out the observation, the fact that we can only see light reflecting off the undersides of objects when the light is below.
So this diagram here, I'm going to show it again before I show one of my demonstrations where I set this up in real life, and I'm going to show you why this is not this is reflected light, yes, but this is a direct reflection, which we do not see. So the light comes up and directly reflects off the bottom of the plane. So the sun's source would be here, coming up, reflecting off. That's not what we see at all. We do see light on the bottom of the plane. I never claim that we don't see light on the bottom of the plane. My claim is that we don't see direct sunlight like this. We don't see this direct line coming off, a bright reflection off the bottom. Just like if you were looking at a reflection of the sun in water, you don't get that really bright central reflection that you would see if there was a direct line of the sun to the bottom of the airplane. Again, getting a little ahead of myself, but really have to break this down for these globe zealots, because all they want to do is hit pieces. They want little stuff that they can do hit pieces on. They don't want stuff like this where we really break it down and make it simple for people to understand. They don't like that.
An object's horizontal, so for sunlight to be reflecting off the underside of a plane is evidence that the sun has to be below the...
So the setup I'm talking about is what he's talking about here. He's talking about the sun coming in this way. You're getting a direct reflection off the bottom of the airplane to the viewer because of where the sun is at. Now, this would be at sunset or sunrise, depending on which time of day you're doing this observation. So you could do it in the morning or you could do it in the evening, according to him anyway. So
plane's horizontal, which would only be possible on a flat Earth if the sun was physically lower.
So I've also set up a demonstration with this scenario. So I set up one with the sun source below the plane, reflecting off the bottom, and I set up one with the sun source coming down from above, and the viewer being below the aircraft, looking up towards the bottom of the aircraft. So I've set up both of these in real life demonstrations, which is another thing almost no globe zealot will do. They don't like doing real stuff. They just like doing hit pieces and calling people stupid without actually testing claims for themselves, putting it through true scrutiny, like I say, and he kind of tries to mock me on that. But again, let him keep talking.
Than the altitude of the aeroplane. Then, after a few people had tried to offer up potential explanations for the observation, I did a follow-up video in July to show how those explanations didn't really work and that the observations still only truly fit the globe. And then just a few days ago, Will Duffy of The Final Experiment interviewed a guy called Amorel, who is now an ex-flat earther, and he'd seemingly found flat earth by watching Eric Dubé video.
All right, so I'm going to fast forward through this part because it's completely pointless and irrelevant. He's just trying to give himself a pat on the back by saying this so-called ex-flat earther, which I highly doubt the guy's ever an ex-flat earther. But anyway, he's just trying to give himself on a pat on the back by saying the reason this guy's an ex-flat earther is mainly because of his airplane observation in the early morning or early evening hours. So I'm going to fast forward through that right quick, get past that, and I don't really want to hear Will Duffy anymore. Let's see. That's Will Duffy talking with this so-called ex-flat earther.
Flat Earth. Flat earthers can't explain how it happens on a flat Earth, and now it seems to some people it's actually a catalyst for them realizing that the Earth isn't flat. However,
I love this because one, he's basically saying that this guy's an ex-flat earther because of this observation and that it's a catalyst for other people to realize the Earth isn't flat. Well, we're about to destroy your simplest observation, bud. So stick around.
Recently, Joe Hanby put a video post up on Facebook trying to debunk this observation. Incidentally, Joe Hanby also appeared in an interview with Will Duffy about the final experiment a few weeks ago because he's tried several times to put forward explanations for how a 24-hour sun in Antarctica might work on flat Earth. However, Joe's Facebook post reads, quote, Dave McKeegan's simple observation to debunk flat Earth is easy to show as a false claim. Globe proponents' attempts to debunk flat Earth always fail scrutiny, end quote. And the post includes this video that he took zooming in on a plane at sunset.
So this video is to kind of debunk Dave McKeegan, who says if you zoom into the underside of a plane when the sun is already set, why is the bottom of the plane lit up? You can clearly see the bottom of that plane is not lit up. Only the top is lit up. I can do this with my P-50 and get even better shots, but I don't have it out here right now, so I figured I'd do it with my cell phone. The sun has set behind the horizon over there, and you cannot see a light on the bottom of the plane. The bottom of the plane is shadow because the sun is still above the plane. Just like it's still above our plane, it's just moved far enough away to where we can't see it anymore. So Dave McKeegan's simple observation to debunk the flat Earth is just ignorant.
For over 17 years, I had an abusive relationship with the P word and
just perfectly demonstrated my claim. Now, to be clear, I never claimed that the sun is always visible on the underside of planes. It depends on multiple factors, like whether there are clouds blocking line of sight of the light from the sun to the plane, how far beyond the horizon the sun is and how high the plane is. If it's too early before sunrise or too long after sunset, then the sun might have already seemed to be set for the people on the plane. If the plane is at lower altitudes, like the one in Joe's footage, then...
So he says, if it's at lower altitudes like the one in my footage, then you're not going to see the light on the bottom of the plane. But then listen to what he says after that when he talks about how an eagle-eyed viewer caught light reflecting off the bottom of the plane. So this plane's too low to see it, but then an eagle-eyed viewer saw it. That's just deceptive. Now, what he's going to show are like mirror flashes of the metal surface, shiny metal surface of the plane. I'll explain that later.
Sun will set sooner for them than if the plane were at 30,000 feet, and you only get the reflection when the plane is in line of sight between you and the sun. So if the plane is flying towards or away from you towards the direct...
He's using this as evidence. He doesn't even zoom in on it. Like, for somebody to use this as evidence is ridiculous. Dave, do better. You can't even hardly tell anything about that.
Of the sun, then this reflection can last
another one.
Minutes,
you can't tell you what that is.
Another one. To you in the sun, then it's go.
So you see these flashes. He's saying that's the bottom of the plane. That's not the bottom of the plane, and I'll explain that and show it in demonstrations in a minute.
Going to cut across that path pretty quickly, but the sun would never reflect off the underside of a plane on flat Earth, as Joe himself points out, because the sun would always be higher than the plane.
The bottom of the plane is shadow because the sun is still above the plane.
So not seeing a reflection on the underside of one particular plane does not disprove my observation for the globe, but seeing the sun reflecting off the underside of any plane disproves the Earth being flat and the sun being higher than the plane.
Again, seeing sunlight on the bottom of the plane does not disprove the Earth being flat. Looking up to the sky does not determine the floor beneath your feet, Dave. Well, I don't see why you Globers can't get this. We can measure the floor. We know it's level. It's topographical, but it's level.
And eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed that as Joe zooms in his video, the underside of the plane lights up with a reflection of the sun. Someone actually commented about this on his video, but he tried to argue that that's not the case and that the light is reflecting off the top of the plane.
Which is true, and I'm going to show in my real live demonstrations that I do, because I actually test this stuff instead of just being a computer cowboy or internet gangster who does hit pieces and afraid to debate people. I don't really care to debate anybody, but I don't do hit pieces on people either. I'm addressing his hit piece on me here and addressing his false simple observation to prove that the Earth is a globe. It's just false. I did not argue here. I just told the guy exactly what it was, that it is a mirror flash type reflection. I didn't tell him that exactly, but that's why I was telling him he's wrong. He doesn't know. And again, this video, my video, I shouldn't have used that as proof either, because it's so far away and it's hard to tell anything, make out any real details other than just the silhouette of the plane. I should have done a video like this one here instead of putting that up.
Except here is a frame grab from Joe.
And these are not from the bottom of the airplane, and I will show that in my demonstrations in a second.
Video as the plane is lit up. And zooming in, that is clearly the underside of the plane. We can clearly make out the shape of the plane. I mean, the tail of the plane is a clear reference marker for where the top of it is, and yet the sunlight is on the opposite side, meaning the sunlight is reflecting off the underside of the plane. It seems quite ironic that Joe claims that attempts to debunk flat Earth always fail through scrutiny, and yet his attempt to debunk the globe has not only just failed scrutiny, but he's also just debunked flat Earth, because by his own admission, the bottom of the plane must always be in shadow because the sun is higher than the plane.
I never said that. I never ever said that there would never be light on the bottom of the plane. There is not direct sunlight. So this is how deceptive this guy is. And guys like him, globe zealots, love doing hit pieces and being deceptive. And we're going to put an end to it right here. So I'm going to show you his first diagram we talked about. This is what he's saying is happening. He's saying that the sun is setting and the sun would be here and its light is coming up and making a direct reflection off of the bottom back to our line of sight. We do not see that. And I'm going to show you that in this video right here. So what I've set up here is I've set up an airplane in my hallway. This is the airplane and this is the laser. Really, I should turn the TV up like this. Let's see if I can, because that actually represents it a little better. And
McKeegan's.
So you see the bottom of the airplane, you see the lasers coming up.
Observation of seeing sunlight reflect.
You see it's coming up, it's reflecting back down. We're looking up at the bottom.
This, and you'll see that diagram when I go over that and put all this together. But sunlight is coming up and it's hitting the bottom of the plane.
We don't see that. We do not see this giant, bright reflection, direct sunlight reflection off the bottom of the plane, which is what we would see if the diagram I just showed you and that he used was correct. We do not see this. Those mirror flashes, like in the little clip he took of the mirror flashes on my plane, are coming off the side of the rounded hull. And light wraps around, and the way it flashes off, it looks like it's coming from the bottom. You're going to see that in a minute.
Coming off of the bottom of the plane.
We never see this.
So you see the lasers pointing up. It's hitting the bottom of the airplane. And we are looking at it from this angle here, kind of looking at the bottom that way. We don't see that ever. Ever. And you can see, we do not see that. All right, so I'm going to go to my next video where I have set the laser up like this. So this was his other diagram, and I've got it turned up on its side right now because the way these videos are coming through the TV with my phone connected. But this next laser setup is like this, with the laser source representing the sun, the beam coming down to the viewer, and the airplane being above the viewer.
So now what you can see is,
and you can plainly see the laser is high above the airplane, pointing down. The light is on the top of the airplane, quite bright on the top of the airplane. And when I come down and get underneath this airplane, you're going to see light patterns on the bottom of the airplane that match exactly the pictures that he was showing in his video of sunlight reflecting on the bottom of the plane. Yes, it is reflected light, but it's reflecting around the plane itself, as you see here. And you can clearly see that looks like light coming off the bottom of the plane, but it is not. It is just mirror-type flashes of reflected light. See how it flashed on the side there on that rounded part of the hull? Makes it look like it's coming off the bottom. It's lighting up between the wing, underneath the wing. The whole base of the tail gets lit up. The whole nose gets lit up underneath. And all that light is above. All of that light is above and looks like it's coming from underneath. Imagine this from a further perspective away, like we have on the ground to a 747 or 767 or whatever, flying at 7 miles high above us. Our eyes are not going to be able to tell the difference. So I'm clearly showing right here light on the so-called bottom of the plane, or on the bottom of the plane, but so-called light on the bottom of the plane. It's not direct light, it is reflected light. And the light source is well above the plane, as you saw, pointing down towards the plane like he showed in his own diagram, saying that we wouldn't see light on the bottom of the plane if that was the case, and we can clearly see light on the bottom of the plane, and that's the case. So Dave, you've been debunked. You need to admit it, and if you're not willing to admit it, then you are admitting you are a deceiver. So you should come out with a new video saying that your best observation to prove the globe has been debunked, and that you were wrong. All right, so I'm going to move forward. We're going to go forward to another video I set up. I didn't even put the laser pointing down. I just shot the laser down the hallway and had it on the wall above the plane. So the laser's level, the focal point represents the sun at the end of the hallway. And what you'll see is when I drop below, when I bring the camera perspective down, that it actually makes the laser focal point of the laser look like it's beneath the airplane. See how it looked like it passed below the airplane is above it, and the light source now looks like it's below the airplane, where it's actually about a foot above it and several feet away from it down the hallway on the wall. Now when we come in, see the airplane's way down here now, but when I go down, the airplane appears to be above the source. So then we come under, and you're going to see the light patterns on the bottom of the airplane. And this isn't even direct light. This is just a focal point several feet down the hallway, and you can see how it looks like there's light on the bottom of the plane, light on the belly of the plane, light on the belly of the tail, light on the bottom of the tail wing, just like we see in real life. Just like we see in his picture. just like we see in real life, just like we see in his pictures. Matter of fact, the light patterns match his pictures very, very, very similarly, and I have many more pictures to show. So this isn't even a direct light source. This, like I showed in the first two videos, this is the light source on the wall several feet away above the airplane, and you're still getting light on the bottom. So, you know, I can set this up as many different ways as possible and disprove his fallacious claim. So it's just easy to do. The globe always fails true scrutiny. I stand by that 100%. All right, so let's move on though. Let's go to another one. And what I've done here is I've slowed it down back to 4 so you can see these reflections coming off the top. But from underneath, it looks like they're coming off the bottom. They're definitely coming off the top. The laser's coming down from the top. This is with the laser actually focusing on the plane versus just being on the wall down the hallway. You can see it looks like it's coming from the bottom. It's lighting up the bottom. It's lighting up the bottom. It's lighting up the bottom. And it's well above, pointing down. So all I did was take that video, slow it down, go back and forth so you can see how it looks like light is showing up on the bottom of the airplane when it's just reflected light wrapping around the rounded shiny metal hull, the rounded shiny metal wings, and creating mirror flashes in certain positions that flash down to you to make it look like it's coming off the bottom when it's actually not coming off the bottom at all. So you can see clearly, look at all that light on the bottom of that plane there. And it comes in between the wing here, like in his pictures. The bottom lights up again right there, in between the wing, like in his pictures. So we're going to go to the next one. This is just a picture where I'm going to sit it back down now. You can clearly see, just like in his picture, all the light is on the bottom of the nose. It's in between the bottom of the wing here, in between the bottom of the wing there, off the back end there. You're getting a little mirror flash reflection there. So you can clearly see how there's light on the bottom and the laser is coming down to the top of the airplane, just like in his diagram. All right. So now let's go to the next one. This is actually my video where you get these little mirror flashes that he talks about on the plane. This is my video that he used that I should have never put up because, like I said, about his videos, trying to use poor video as proof of anything is not right. So I shouldn't have used that. That's my bad. But I'm correcting that right now. Here's the screen grab he did, showing those reflections off of the rounded hull, not off of the bottom of the airplane. But even if they were off the bottom of the airplane, I've already shown you how it looks like it's coming from the bottom when it's actually not. And there is light on the bottom. It's just not direct light like he claims it is. It's not a good picture, but here's a picture where I've created those mirror flashes. Here's his pictures. And I'm going to bring them in closer so that you can see those same light patterns. Light between the wing. Looks like the base of the nose is lit up. A little bit of the belly is lit up. Looks like the bottoms of the motors are lit up. But if you really look at the shadow, that light area is not the bottom. And under the wing, this is reflection where it's wrapping around the rounded shiny hull and then reflecting into these areas. And on the motors here, that's not really on the bottom. That's on the side, just like those flashes of light that he claimed came from the bottom of my video. Those are from the side, and they're like little reflective mirror flashes, which you saw in the live demonstration I just did. And I can go back to that. Here's another one. Same thing, same light patterns on the bottom of the plane that I'm able to show. Here's the one he used. I don't know why anybody would use that. Not a good one either. Now this is an airplane in midday. Midday. Look at that. It looks very similar to his evidence. All right. So he says this would only happen if the sun is below the plane. And then we have midday. Looks almost identical. Midday. Another one. Midday. Light on the bottom of the plane. mirror flash coming off what looks like the bottom, light on the bottom of the belly, light on these little ridges beneath the wings, light on the side of the motor that looks like the bottom of the motor. The whole back side of the wing looks like it's lit up. Between the wing and the belly, looks like light is coming in there. That's not direct sunlight. That is sunlight reflecting, wrapping around the metal body, the metal shiny paint, and all of that stuff, and reflecting. All right? That's midday. Dave, McKeegan, you've been debunked. Another one, midday, and this even shows. This one was taken in Australia with a Galaxy S23 Ultra at 11:54 a.m. Looks like there's light on the bottom of the plane. This is the original of that before. This is the shot before zoomed in and then shown the timestamp, date stamp that is here. So, and then you have my example. See how the shaded belly in the back and the whole front looks like it's got light on it, but it doesn't. And in this picture, I even got the light in the ceiling on and the laser coming down from the top. You look like you have light coming from underneath, creeping in between the wing and the belly. It looks like light coming off the bottom. It's not. Light across the whole belly. That's light wrapping around. Light looks like it's coming off the bottom of the motors. It's not. That's light wrapping around. Again, looks like light coming from the bottom. This is a mirror flash type deal, like he screenshotted in my little video that he did the whole hit piece on. Provably wrong, Dave. You're provably wrong. Again, mirror flash on the top of the wing. Looks like it's coming from beneath the wing. Underneath the rear tail wing looks like it has light on it. Here's another one. The whole base of the belly here looks like it has light on it, and you can tell because this is also the base and the belly. That rear looks like it has light on it. This wing looks like it has light on the bottom. The motor looks like it has light on the bottom, and then all this is shaded, and the light's coming down from the top. You've been debunked, bud. Again, light across the whole tail, light across that bottom wing. The laser's coming down from the top, shining off the top. You're getting mirror flashes off the other side. Light on the bottom of the wing, between the wing and the hull, and light right here across the belly as well. You're even getting reflected light off of on this little model. It's got little axles. You're even getting what looks like reflected light off of those, and those are hidden underneath the bottom very, very well. Another one looks like these mirror flashes are coming from the underneath of the plane when they're not. They're actually coming from the top. And then this is a picture of showing a similar phenomenon where I've set up cloud layers a foot off the ground all the way down my hallway, several cloud layers. And then I shot the laser above those cloud layers at the end of the hallway and then changed the camera perspective to the ground. And it looks exactly like what we see in real life as a sun is beginning to set beyond the horizon, move beyond the horizon. You even get the hot spot underneath. You get the clouds looking like they're being lit underneath. And from this picture, you don't see it as well. But when I move to the next picture, you can see it looks like the bottoms of the clouds are lit up when they're actually not. Again, looks like the bottoms of the clouds are lit up. They're actually not. Here is one where I just took and put it in mono, black and white mono. And you can see light on the bottom of the plane, light on the bottom of the rear tail wing, light on the bottom of this wing, and then shadowed here, light on the bottom of the nose, just like what you saw in the pictures he used as evidence. Another one, same way. You're seeing light patterns and light reflections. You even see the axles reflecting light on the base of the tail here. And I'm moving the plane in different positions to show how the light changes across. Here, just like that one I showed in midday, there's light on the belly, light on the nose, light on the bottom of the wing. Another one, same thing. You're seeing the light patterns in the same way. And here, this is one where I just did a flashlight above the plane. Instead of a laser, I just did a flashlight and have it above the plane. I should turn this up on its side again, but in a minute it won't matter because once I get down beneath the plane, kind of orients and looks like it's in the right position. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm getting down underneath the plane. And look at that. See how bright blue that is and how dark blue it is back there? Bright blue here, dark blue. That's light, so-called light on the bottom of the plane. And then see, bright blue, you get these mirror flashes. Looks like there's light there. The shadow's moving around. You get light between the wings and the hull. Exactly like what we see. And the fact that I can show it in midday completely debunks the claim, period. That's really all I needed to do was show that one picture of it happening midday with the sun definitely above the plane at midday. All right. Next one. Looks like those reflections are coming off the bottom. They're not. That is just reflected light. That's not direct sunlight coming off the bottom. This is at nighttime. Looks like you got moonlight coming off the bottom of the plane, and you definitely don't. Another one. See these mirror flashes just like in my video? Those aren't coming off the bottom, but they appear to be. Mirror flashes coming off the sides of the motors, but they look like they're coming from the bottom. They're not. Light across the base, light across the blue part of the nose. More light on this wing than on that one. Two more. Light looks like it's reflecting off the bottom when it's not. It's just reflecting. It's just a bright reflection off of the metal plane. This looks like it's coming from the bottom as well. It's not. Midday. This is another midday flight. Looks like these reflections, these mirror flashes, like he screenshotted in my video after saying the plane was too low, then saying that an eagle-eye viewer captured the sunlight reflecting off the bottom. This is what he's talking about. These mirror flash type reflections that are really coming off the side of the round hull and look like they're flashing down to us from our perspective on the ground. Another one. Looks like there's light on the bottom. Another one. Looks like there's light on the bottom. Another one. Looks like there's light on the bottom. Another one. Looks like there's light on the bottom. Another one. Looks like there's light on the bottom. More. And again, these are my pictures. Looks like the light's coming from the bottom. It's not. That's on the side of the airplane, coming from above. Again, coming from above. Look at this. That light looks like it's completely under the wing. It's not. That's above the wing. Looks like it's coming from the bottom. It's not. That's on the top. It's like it's in between the wing and the belly there on the bottom. It's not. That's from the top. Again, another midday flight. And these are, because they're showing up on this TV screen, they're not showing up quite as good as they do on my phone. But even still, you see light on the belly of the bottom, light on the bottoms of the motors, light on the bottom of the wings, light on the bottom of the backside of the belly. This is midday. Midday, another one. Looks like there's light on the bottom. Another one. This looks like light is on the wings, but the belly's shadowed. And that's my last picture. But I showed all of that. And my challenge to you, Dave, is to admit that you were wrong and do a video saying that your best simple observation to prove the globe is wrong and that has been proven wrong by actual demonstrations and real life testing of the claim. Your claim's been tested, it's been proven false, so it's time for you to admit it, or you're admitting that you are a deceiver and a intentional liar. So I'll leave it at that. And I hope everybody learned something from this. I did. I had a lot of fun doing it. It teaches me a lot to test these things, to really test them, to really put them through scrutiny. And unfortunately, you would think people would know better than to try to just do a hit piece on one little video. And I should have known better than just to put a little quick short clip video up like that. And I should have known that that would have been used as a hit piece. But, you know, at the time you're not thinking about it. You're like, oh, wow, here's his simple observation that he says proves a globe. It obviously doesn't. It's not happening the way he thinks it's happening or the way he's saying it's happening. And I don't even think he thinks that. I think he knows the truth and he's just lying. He's playing on the ignorance of the masses. He's playing on the ignorance of his followers. And I'm not calling people ignorant. It's okay to be ignorant in things that we don't know anything. I don't know anything about makeup. I'm ignorant about makeup. You ask me about makeup, I don't know. I'm ignorant. And if I tell you anything about it, don't believe it because I don't know anything about it. So it's okay that we're ignorant to optics and we're ignorant to perspective and we're ignorant to photography and we're ignorant to how light is working on our flat plane, on our flat realm. It's okay that we're ignorant in those things. What's not okay is to stay ignorant and to just listen to globe zealots like Dave McKeegan when he's obviously playing on your ignorance. So that should clear it up. Dave McKeegan, you've been debunked. You need to admit it. And if you don't admit it, then you're admitting you are intentionally lying. So